G'day, it's Pete here, and I'm here with Justin Mill. That's right, Justin Mill. He's changed his name. Justin Howard's dead now. So
yeah, I went out and killed him.
Anyway, we're back for our journey to the bowl. So where we're covering everything that we want to do on our preparation on getting to the Bermuda Bowl and how we want to improve and what we're doing to go about it. And what have we done this month?
Well, this month we've had a very, very busy month. In all, I've ended up playing 18 days of bridge, and Pete just the casual 13 out of a month with only 28 days. It's not too bad. I spent a week in Japan playing in the NEC Cup, and then after that went to the Gold Coast, where both Peter and I competed for 8 days. I won the pairs, don't know what he was doing, and came third in the team, so I had a pretty good tournament, and Pete just missed out on the finals, losing their last match, so it was all in all a very good congress for me. But no, we played a lot of bridge this month, and the great thing about not playing together is you get so many different things that you can get from your partner, such as when you're playing with other people, you have to make life so much easier for your partner. You can't just assume, they know what I'm doing. I do this every time. Every time you post somebody new, you've got to treat them with the most respect you can and make life as easy as possible. And yeah, you've got to basically take that extra step, go the extra mile, do what you can.
Yeah, some other things that we actually get out of, like from playing with other people, not just in our regular partnership, is that while we're away, we get some different bidding problems, and we make sure we still ask each other some bidding problems. So we like to think, what would you do here? And we quiz each other. So even though we might not be playing together, we still get some problems. And here's some that we had. This is one that I brought up, where you got a 4-3-3 on diamonds, and your partner opens one club. We were playing short club, but it's not too relevant. I went one spade, and I can't double because that shows 4 hearts. I can't bid a no trump because I don't have a spade stopper. I can't support clubs. So even though I would normally respond, I don't have a bid here. So I just passed. I went past, and my partner reopened with the double. And now this is where I got into like this really tricky spot. I kind of wanted to bid a no trump, but I felt like that would show that I have a hand that's just too weak to bid a no trump. So sort of like 4 to 7 points or something approximating that.
Yeah, it's sort of a very tricky problem, isn't it? You have all these bids that you want to make on the first time, which you can't make, and then it goes to the second bid, and you can't make any of those either. So it's about trying to work out what have you shown and what have you denied. So when you pass one spade, you've denied 4 hearts. So first option you could think of is bidding 2 hearts on a 3-card suit. However, with 8-7-5, no shortages, a 4-3 fit doesn't seem like a great idea. The next options you can think of is supporting clubs. If partner's unbalanced, maybe they've got a fit in clubs. If partner's balanced, maybe they've got 4 diamonds.
Yeah.
What do you want to do? However, if you bid either 2 clubs or 2 diamonds, how's partner supposed to know the difference between 0 high card points and the 9 that you have? So this leads us into the problem of what do you actually do now? And when Pete gave me this problem, I said that I would bid 2 spades. And what the 2 spade bid says to my partner, in my opinion, is that I have a maximum passed hand, so up to 9 points. I do not have a suit that I want to bid. I don't have 4 hearts. I don't have a spade stopper, and I don't have a minor that I can support. So it's giving partner the best of all options. If partner wants to bid no trumps and they've got a good hand, they can go 3 no trump. Partner's got a minimum hand with a spade shortage. They can either bid 3 diamonds or 3 clubs, both of which I'm happy about. And if partner's got a really good hand, they could even investigate 5 diamonds or 5 clubs.
Yeah. So that was one of the tricky problems that I had. Now onto one that Juz had.
Yeah, I absolutely destroyed this hand. This was in the semi-final of the teams championship, and thankfully we lost by more than this hand. So anyway, otherwise I would have felt a bit bad.
Why don't you guys try and work out what you would bid here? We'll give you some options. You could double for strength. What's common is 3 clubs would be good with diamonds. 3 diamonds is just wanting to compete. 3 hearts would be good with spades. And 3 spades is like competing in spades with a good spade suit.
Your partner opened a diamond.
Yeah, sorry. Diamond typo.
We put in the Mr.
Yeah. So, yeah. Well, yeah. 1 diamond, 2 no trump. So what would you actually bid here? So what did you do?
I chose to make the most horrendous bid possible, which was double. The reason that this bid is very bad is because of the vulnerability. At this vulnerability, you're not very likely to be able to double your opponents in a heart partial. You know they have at least 8 hearts between them, considering, unlike what the auction suggests, your partner did not open a heart. So once your partners open a diamond, they won't have 5 hearts. So therefore, your opponents have a definite fit, so looking to penalise them is not a great idea at this vulnerability. So for me, I think I should have either been showing diamonds or spades. Now, which one is probably a more interesting question on what you should be showing? What do you think, Pete?
Yeah, so when I first answered this, I said I'd show a hand with spades, but on further reflection, and we discussed it more, we thought that showing good with diamonds would actually be a decent idea, because thinking about what the most likely next bid from the opponents is and what's going to happen over that. So if you show good with spades and the next hand bids 4 hearts and that goes pass around to you, you don't really have that much more information.
Yeah, you're going to lose your entire diamond fit. Partner is very likely to have 5 diamonds on this auction, considering they've opened a diamond, not a short club, so straight away they're very likely to have 5. If partner supports your spades, is spades guaranteed to be the right place to play anyway? Partner has 6 diamonds and 3 small spades. It's very possible that you may be able to discard one of their spades on your king of clubs, or partner's got the queen of clubs. Maybe there'll be some discarding potential here. So for me, I reckon that you should be showing this as strong with diamonds. Then when it comes back to you at 4 hearts, you can bid 4 spades. And this gets your hand across. It says, partner, I've got a hand interested in the slam with diamonds. I've got spades. What do you want to do? And this would have solved a lot more of my problems. What I did was I chose to double. And as expected, that came 4 hearts. Double from partner. Back to me. Which is exactly what I didn't want to hear. But it's what I kind of could have predicted if I had a little bit more foresight and it wasn't the end of 17 days of straight playing.
Yeah, right. So there were a couple of bidding problems that we posed to each other, and just to get each other's ideas of what they'd do and then sort of reflect on that a bit more.
And the best thing you should always remember is when you give a bidding problem, don't give a bidding problem where you did something fantastic and you go, hey, look at me, I did this, look how well it worked. You should bring up hands like this, where I said, Peter, I made a woeful bid on this one. What should have I actually bid? And they're the hands that are most interesting, the hands you're going to learn from. Don't sit there and go, I got this right, look at me, la-di-da. Always bring the hands you make mistakes on.
Yeah, you're actually, when you give these problems, you actually want to improve on that. So when you've done something definitely right, you're not going to improve from that by bringing that up and showing them off. Give ones where you actually want other people's opinions and can learn from those opinions and things like that.
And this is the thing I love about playing with new players all the time, is you get different ideas of what you can do. You get different ideas on styles, you get different ideas on the aggressive, the passive, and you occasionally get brand new ideas where you go, wow, I've been doing that wrong all these years. And this brings into a few things that I was learning while I was away, and that's about some different ideas in defence. And Peter and I have had a bit of a chat about them, and we're going to adopt a few of these things.
Yeah, so we've decided... Well, first thing we did is we've done some quizzes on defence so that we sort of know more about what our exact cards do and what do we play in different situations. But one of the ideas that we're adopting is when Declarer leads to their first trick, we're trying out suit preference. Now, it may or may not work for us, but we've got a few tournaments before the big ones that we're playing together. So we're going to do that and trial it, see if we're happy with it, and go from there.
Yeah, I had 2 tournaments trialing this. I played recently in Japan and NEC with Japan and Gold Coast with 2 different partners. And I played suit preference with both of these partners, neither of which were Pete, and I'd never played suit preference before. The first tournament, I really struggled with it. I didn't get what suits I was supposed to be showing, what are the inferences, when can you exclude a suit, when can't you, and it was all a bit awkward. But by the time it got to the second tournament, I really understood it and I liked it, and I came back and I said to Pete, this is what I've been playing over the last 2 weeks, you want to give it a go? It might work for us, it might not. We've got 2 tournaments coming up in the next month, one in Tasmania and one in Yeppoon, up in the far north of Queensland. And we'll try it there, and if it works, good. even better. New agreements are always good when they work, and if it doesn't work, we scrap it, and we've tried.
Yeah. So that's what we're adopting and sort of trialing, but we also, with these quizzes that we did, one of them, like, we go through and see, like, what are our signals at trick 1? What are our signals here? All these basic questions. Now, most people actually just stop there, and this really isn't a great approach. There is so much depth to actually signaling that you want to try and look at and cover. And one is, like, how do you feel leading from different holdings? So,
yeah, there's many different things on this quiz that came up, and one of them is things such as, how do you feel about leading aces? How do you feel about underleading aces? How do you feel about leading a low card away from a jack? How do you feel about leading from a king against a slam? How do you feel about leading away from doubletons? How do you feel about leading from king doubleton, queen doubleton, jack doubleton, those sorts of holdings? And how do you feel about leading from 3 small? These are very big things that will determine how you should defend. For example, Pete and I went through these each, and we decided, okay, this is what I like, and we'll go through each of them, tell you what we think about each of them.
So, underleading aces, I avoid it where possible, but it is definitely something that I may do from time to time. I want my partner to know that I can do it, but it's not a high-frequency thing. There are certain times that I'll do it. So there's certain situations where it's a low-risk thing, where, such as... I know dummy's got some points on my left, and I know the other person's not short in the suit, so where it's not going to be a singleton king or anything.
Yeah, it's a very good time, particularly if your opponents are having a Q-bidding auction, and you get a Q-bid of the suit you hold the ace in on your left. You now know 100% that the king is there, assuming that they haven't shown a shortage. So straight away, underleading an ace there has a lot of merit, because if they have the king and not the queen... Suddenly, if your partner's got the queen, that's going to bring 2 tricks, maybe bring a trump into play, lots of things like that. But as a general rule, I like to say don't underlead aces, but knowing that partner will say, look, there's 1 time in 1,000 he'll do it. I know he can do it. Go from there.
Just to be aware of it, but for the most part, don't expect me to actually be doing it. Yeah. What about leading from a jack?
For me, this is one of my most hated leads. I really hate leading away from jacks, because when you lead away from a jack, there are so many suit combinations where it is best for your side not to be leading the suit. If partner has the ace, that means the opponents have the king and the queen. You lead the suit, both their king and queen are likely to score. If you don't lead the suit, you're likely to get your jack as a winner. If your partner has the king, you might even win no tricks out of this suit. You lead a small one, partner puts the king on, they win the ace, and then they finesse your jack. You suddenly went from a situation where it was impossible not to win a trick to a situation where it was impossible to win a trick just by leading away from a jack. So for me, I avoid leading away from jacks unless I've got, say, 5 or 6 cards in the suit against no trumps.
See, I don't like leading away from jacks, but I don't feel as strongly about it as Juz, but it's...
He should.
But, like, it's important to, like, discuss these things. So if you're on the other side and having to predict what has my partner led from, understanding that you might be able to pick that. Now, I don't try and lead away from jacks, I try and avoid them, but I might be slightly more often than Juz leading a jack.
Yeah, and it's a good thing to know that when your partner leads a suit, that immediately that's one holding that he can rule out. So if dummy has the queen and the 10 and I lead the suit, he knows I don't have the jack. Yeah. So straight away he knows declarer has the jack. This is a suit where, okay, we can abandon the suit or things like that. The next one is leading away from kings against slams. What do you think?
I'm a huge fan of leading away from kings, because one thing that you have to do against slam is you basically get two opportunities. Once when you win your trick and once on the opening lead. Now, when you win your trick, you want to be able to cash another trick. So my idea is if you lead away from a king, your partner might have the queen, you knock out that ace, and if you or your partner gets in, you might then be able to score your king. So I find it's a good aggressive lead to try and set up tricks.
For me, is my favourite lead against a slam is to lead away from a king, except for when you're defending against 6 no trump. When you're defending against 6 no trump, the opponents don't usually have long suits that they're going to run, so you want to wait for your tricks to come to you. when you're defending 6 of a suit contract, it's possible, A, you could be cashing the ace-king of this suit. B, if you don't lead this suit now, you're never going to get another chance. And C, how often is that going to be their 12th trick? It's very often that even if it was wrong, it's going to come back to you later. So for me, I'm a big fan of leading kings against a slam, but kings against game, not so much.
What about a small doubleton?
Do I have any other choice? Any other choice, people? Doubletons are typically, in my opinion, the worst lead unless your partner knows that for some reason that you're leading a doubleton. If you use some of the tricks that some of the top players have played where they place the cards in different directions to show the numbers, then a doubleton could be a fine lead, but unless you're cheating, I would avoid it. Because so many times you lead a doubleton, partner thinks you've got a singleton. They play the ace, they play another one, you can't ruff. What a bad thing. There are a few times where I would lead a doubleton. That's when I'm defending against some low-level contracts where you know your partner has a good hand. Where my partner's bid the suit, now I'm leading it because my partner bid the suit, not because it's a doubleton. And the last time is when you've got good trump control. If you've got good trump control, you can lead your doubleton, get back in, lead your doubleton again, that you've got a good chance of setting up a ruff. But other than that, I hate small doubletons.
Yeah, for me, I think like having that trump control is really important because when partner misguesses about trying to give you that ruff, I don't want the opponents just to be able to draw trumps straight away. I want to get a second chance at trying to get that ruff. So that's why, like, if I lead a doubleton, I'm sort of more likely to have a trump on it.
Or if it was completely wrong, you get in with your trump and you switch to what you were supposed to do. Yeah. So certainly having a trump control is a big thing. King third or ace third trump is a big thing. Not queen jack X, because when you trump from that holding, you're trumping with your natural trump winner. So for me, it's ace or king of trumps with sort of 3 trumps in there. Next one being 3 small.
I really like 3 small.
Yeah, 3 small is the bomb. It is a very safe passive lead. Basically, it gives nothing away, it doesn't hurt you, you've got enough length that either the suit was breaking and nothing bad was happening, or that this is a suit where you can get tricks from. Weakness towards strength, follows all the good things in life.
Yep. And unsupported honours, like honour doubleton?
Yeah. Again, I put this in the same category as doubletons, except for I do these a little bit more. I would lead from king doubleton or queen doubleton against part scores a lot more, because the chance of setting up a ruff is quite high. So for me, a little bit better than small doubletons, but you also have to think is, when you have these holdings, what was your chance of winning a trick if you didn't lead the suit? So if you think there's a good chance that you'll win your king or queen or jack by not leading it, then going for your ruff is actually not gaining you any tricks. So that's something to think about.
I'm not a big fan of unsupported honours, unless partner bid the suit, in which case they're really good.
Yeah, because you're leading partner's suit.
Yeah.
Good tip for life is lead your partner's suit. You're never wrong. You can always blame them for bidding.
Yeah.
You're never going to lose a post-mortem leading partner's suit.
Yeah. So these were some of the things that we wanted to do and just discuss, get some more ideas of what we actually like leading and don't like leading. So when you're on the other end, as we mentioned, you've got a better chance trying to guess what holding might they have led from. Or if he did lead a doubleton, what more can I tell about the hand so that I can now place all those other cards, which is a really important factor. When he chooses something low on his list, that I can then like place these other cards and understand why he did it rather than going, he leads doubletons sometimes or something.
Yeah, it's a very big thing about having a partnership is knowing, okay, I know partner likes leading from 3 small. Okay, he didn't lead this suit. I'm pretty sure he's only got 3 of them. Okay, he has an honor in this suit. Therefore, you can make predictions about how's best to defend from here. And sometimes you're still going to be wrong, but the more you get to know your partner's habits, the better placed you are to actually make good decisions later on. And from this, we went on to saying that, okay, interpreting partner's first leads is good. Interpreting what you do on your first signal is the next step. When your partner leads, what do you actually do? Because so many people go on and they just say, okay, we give count or we give attitude. Some people say, we give reverse count and we give reverse attitude. Well, which one do you actually play?
Yeah, so you want to go through, you want to know exactly what it is, not give this bogus answer that depending on dummy. What we did is we went through and said, all right, our priority is giving count. We love count. We think it's an awesome signal. Some people love attitude. Perfect. You need to know what signal is your priority. Then what are the exceptions for it? We don't just say, you look at dummy and you work it out. You want to go through and list some exceptions. So for us, our main priority is count. Our second priority is suit preference. So one exception is that when dummy hits with a singleton, we'll give suit preference because it's less likely that you want to know the count of the suit.
Every time you are trying to give partner a signal, you've got to think about why you're giving them a signal. Contagious.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah. So you've got to think about why you're giving them that signal. And if dummy tracks with a singleton, how good is it to your partner to know, oh, he's got an odd number in this suit or he's got an even number. Oh, he likes this suit or he hates it. That sort of thing is not going to be very useful. When partner leads an ace and the king tracks in the dummy, partner's almost certainly led a singleton. So what's partner next wanting you to do is tell them where you can get back in. So for us, a very big thing is playing count when it's there, and then working out what are the exceptions where we give suit preference. So for us, there are things like when dummy has a singleton, when dummy has a solid suit, when your partner leads an obvious singleton. For example, if they preempt 4 hearts and the next player doubles and it goes pass and then the opponent's bid 5 clubs and your partner's on lead. He's preempted 4 hearts. Why would he now lead a spade? He's obviously got a singleton. So your first job, if you can't win the trick, is to tell partner where can he get you in. Is it in diamonds? Is it in hearts? What can he do to get you back on lead to give him that ruff? So,
or if you know that declare is going to ruff. Sometimes you've got more trumps than more of that suit than expected, and you know that declare is going to ruff it, so you can just give suit preference there. So
yeah, there's a lot of good cases, and it's about going through and listing the exceptions with your partner. So many people take that first step and they go, oh, okay, we give count in this situation. All the other situations we work out, and they say, oh, we give some suit preference.
yeah.
But so many times, and Peter and I can attest to this playing with people like Max Hembest, where he goes, oh, come on, it was clear suit preference here.
Yeah.
You know, just because you think it's clear suit preference, unless you've talked about it, your partner's not going to get it. And if they do, then that was pot luck. Good luck next time. Go through, talk about these things, and you'll be in a much better position. Big thing to talk about is what do you signal if you have 3 or 4 small cards and your partner leads an ace or a king? Are you supposed to play your smallest, your second smallest, your third smallest, your biggest? What are you supposed to be doing? What do you think?
So we mainly give count. So for us, we want to give the clearest signal. Like in general, you want to give your partner the clearest signal you can. So for us, it's either the lowest card or the highest card, depending on how many we have. But we've also clearly defined what our second card is well. So if we've got 4 little ones, we play our little one and then our second little one. This one isn't a suit preference signal for us. Whereas if we've got 3 cards and we're going to start with our highest card, then our second card will be suit preference. So we've defined that.
And it's a very big thing, the difference between 2 and 4 for us, because when you're defending against suit contracts, if your partner has 2 cards in a suit, they want to get a trump in. So you want to go ace, king, and give your partner a ruff. If your partner has 4 cards, you play the ace and king, and then you want to shift to where your next tricks are coming from, not give the opponents that free trick. So for us, having a rule such as we play our 2 lowest cards, that way anytime you play your lowest card and something else that is not the lowest card out there, partner immediately knows this is a doubleton. There's none of this hesitation stuff which comes up quite a lot, which is one thing I really don't like. You pull out one card, you put it back, you pull out another, probably not a doubleton. I like doing that to partners sometimes when I do have a doubleton, seeing if they're cheating, but no, you shouldn't do that either.
But yeah, I think it's really important to know exactly what signal you do and make sure you give your partner the clearest possible signal all the time. Some people give these murky cards because, you know, they've got like 9, 8, third, and you think, oh, well, I want to keep the 9, it might be relevant. But they've got this touching 8, so if you're going to play the 8, you may as well play the 9. Make it obvious for your partner. So we love giving clear signals. Make sure your partner's on the same wavelength.
As one of the top coaches wrote, if possible, play your highest or your lowest card. Do not play an ambiguous card. Partner is not a mind reader. Declarer can be false carding. If you play your highest or your lowest, your partner is in a good position to get it right. If you play a 6 or a 4 or a 5, what is partner supposed to make of that? Partner will get it wrong just as often as they'll get it right, and you'll say, oh, but it was obvious. I played the 4, what else could that be from? Well, if you had the 2 and the 9, those both would have been nicer cards. Whether you're playing natural or reverse, it doesn't matter. Don't play middle cards if you can. It's just too much of a mind puzzle for partner.
Yeah. Obviously, you don't want to signal with cards that will cost tricks, but the vast majority of the time they won't. So if you can afford it, do it.
Yeah, there'll be sometimes, obviously, if you've got 10, 8, 4, 2, and you're playing standard carding, throwing away the 10 could be a crucial card. Sure, the 8 is big enough, partner will get it. But if your cards are 10, 4, 3, 2, most of the time I would just throw the 10 away, because for me, partner knowing that they can trust my cards 100% is more important than that one time where I throw away a trick. If you can clearly see that it will cost a trick, obviously don't do it. But if you're like, it might cost a trick, just make partner's life easy. That is what bridge is about. The best partnerships work when everybody is happy, everybody's having a good time, not playing the blame game. Oh, how could you not read my 4? Obviously that was the highest.
Yeah. We also then went on and discussed like leads after trick 1. People know, well, some people know what they lead at trick 1, but not many people know when you get back in later, what do you switch to? Do you still lead fourths? Do you play seconds and fourths? Do you play count cards or attitude cards? You want to discuss what do you play from these different exact holdings and know later in the hand what you switch to.
Yeah, it's quite a big thing that people look at. They go, okay, well, I lead thirds and fifths versus suits, but then afterwards in the middle of the hand, do I still lead thirds and fifths? Do I lead attitude? Do I lead count? And it doesn't matter what you do, is the actual truth to it, as long as you know and have an agreement. For Peter and I, we went through and cleared up all our agreements. We lead thirds and fifths, but during the middle of the hand, we lead seconds and fourths with a bit of attitude. So if you've got a bad suit, you lead your second highest. If you've got a good suit, you lead your fourth highest. And it's just having an agreement. Again, doesn't matter what it is, just sit down, talk to your partner and say, what do we actually do?
Make sure you're on the same wavelength.
And these are the sorts of things that you can do just with your partner over the phone. You know, you send off an email, you say, this is what I was thinking. For example, Peter and I sat down and we just chatted for an hour going through these quizzes. Then what we do is when we want to talk about our bidding stuff, we go online and we start doing some online bidding practice.
Yeah.
And this is mainly using the program Bridgebase Online, which is where you saw the little clips of the hands come from. And what we get from these is just clarifying our agreements. What we do is we go to a private bidding table. We don't play against other people, and we bid 30 to 50 hands. We just put the cards on random. We set it to 18 or more high card points, and we just bid hands. We talk about it. We let the opponents go wild. Who cares if they bid absolutely ridiculous things with no points? The more things that your opponents come up and do against you, the more agreements you'll get.
Yeah.
And that's what our main thing of bidding practice is, but there's plenty of other things that you can get out of it.
Yeah, so some people, when they learn a new convention, can target this bidding practice and get used to it that way, which I think is really valuable. But we don't add so many conventions in anymore. I think we've got enough of them. But we just want to sort of get in some unusual situations and bid lots of different hands. So competitive situations is really what we're focusing on with our bidding practice.
Yeah, every time that you should play a tournament, you should lead up to a tournament with, even if it's just 50 or 100 bidding hands with your partner. It gets you into the same mindset as them. It lets you think, okay, this is what they were thinking. If partner makes an awful bid, you say, why did you do that? Did you think I had something different? Did you think your hand was worth something different? Or were you just watching TV? One of those things. So basically, I think that this is the most valuable tool when it comes to bidding. sitting down and just talking everything through with your partner is really good for the play of the hands. And obviously playing as much as you can is good, but if you sit down and you play a duplicate for 3.5 hours, you might get to defend 10 hands.
Yeah.
Less if you're us, but you know. And in that time, 3 of them might be relevant. So spending 3.5 hours to target 3 hands, not very structured learning. So for me, I like getting in there, bidding practice for the bidding, talking about it with all quizzes, and just being really honest. What would I do here? What would I do here? And admitting to the other person, I don't know what's best. What do you think? And if you both don't know, that's when you come email Pete.
Ask someone. Ask anyone you know. It doesn't have to be me. I can give out Justin's email address. That's no problem.
Yeah, that's right. Justin Howard's dead. You can't get onto him.
But yeah, so that's what we've been doing in this month for our journey to the bowl.
Yeah, it's going to be an exciting month coming up. We're off to Tasmania in a couple of weeks, so that will be our second practice national for the year. Month after is another national, and then May is our first trip away. So training is going to start heating up soon.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching.
Thanks very much.
See ya.
Bye.